At what point does escapism turn into something you can't escape? An endless loop in your mind that does not let you sleep. Something tangible that demands escape itself. Demands to exist beyond the constraints of your own mind. What do you do as it consumes you? Hi, my name is Kairos, and the concept of meeting death, looking back and asking myself, what if, scares me more than death itself. I spent the last decade or so neglecting any creative outlet that caught my interest so that I could focus on my career. Now my career sucks and I'm forcing creativity back into my life. Your English teacher's favourite website, Wikipedia, describes escapism as mental diversion from unpleasant aspects of daily life, typically through activities involving imagination or entertainment. Escapism also may be used to occupy oneself away from persistent feelings of depression or general sadness. I'm not referring to someone dealing with serious trauma. I'm speaking from the angle of someone who is so grossly dissatisfied with day-to-day life and the world that we live in that I'd rather nosedive into Sword Art Online and die within the first few months than continue my current corporate machine existence. Simply because it would make for a better story. Now, if you've clicked this video, or remotely existed for that matter, you've likely experienced this. Sitting in class or a lecture hall, the teacher's voice blending into the continuous drone of the aircon. Maybe it's at work, while you accept another urgent meeting invite to discuss the need to talk about a time to organize talking about doing some damn work. Else, you've probably woken up more than once, looked at the mental list of objectives, glanced at literally any supply of dopamine readily accessible, and dived straight into that pool of escapism before even starting your day. Quote, "The tendency to seek, or the practice of seeking, distraction from what normally has to be endured." Oxford Dictionary, according to Wikipedia. Speaking of, there's a list of ways people escape reality, some less healthy than others. Mostly, it'll come down to what type of escape is readily available. Whatever shape it takes often will mold to fit the empty void inside you that real life refuses to hand over. More often than not, this is attributed to running from problems. But I'm more inclined to believe it's the result of following a life that was never meant to be yours. This escapism is your brain's way of screaming at you to find and follow a purpose. In other words, point you towards problems you were made to solve. So, if you've ever been standing in front of a pile of dirty dishes, contemplating if sticking your head in the microwave is a preferable alternative, maybe you're neglecting something that's actually important to you. For me, it's daydreaming, storytelling, narrative. Not just the time that you imagine yourself getting in a bar fight to protect your friend while you're just sitting at home eating dinner, but the type that compounds, grows, and festers into something that becomes such a significant part of not just your life, but your identity. And the worst part, no one knows except you. This is what health professionals call a downwards spiral and a problem. But how do we get here? Well, first, you have to make sure that you focus on a real career because you will have bills to pay. Make sure this is chosen before you have any sense of reality and they're basing it off what some miserable adult suggests you do because that's what's normal or what they did. So, somewhere between the age of 14 and 18. Then, take that little spark inside you, that curiosity or desire to explore and create, and shoot it in the head. Dig a 7-foot deep hole, yes, 7, and bury it. Now, be careful. In some form or another, this little spark will try and crawl out and back into your life. Make sure you stamp it down. Now, spend enough years dreaming of somewhere else, or watching the clock until you can go and be somewhere else. Maybe both. Both is good. Make sure to compare what you're not doing with other people's success on the internet. It really helps the melancholy set in, and it fuels your escapism. Let it all boil to a point where you have so many what-ifs burned deep into your mind that you look around and ask yourself, what the fuck am I doing? I've spent so much time daydreaming and world building that I've almost given myself panic attacks because of how overwhelming my own world lore is, all trapped in my head. So much so that I dragged my entire friend group, kicking and screaming, into this fantasy, just so other people knew about it. I'm not joking. Based over years of playing games together and the stories of our adventures across the virtual world, I pried a single original character from each of my friends that fit together into this fantasy. So, when the damned fools all agreed that reality kind of sucks and this game called Dungeons and Dragons looks interesting, suddenly that little parasitic world in my mind saw an opening and it bled out my eyeballs at any poor soul who would listen. Before I knew it, years of escapism suddenly has direction, an output. A whole pantheon is built while staring at the wall of an office cubicle. Thousands of words vomit themselves onto documents because that little spark now has me at gunpoint, holding my functional brain hostage while it demands that it exists. And it'll be damned if I let something as minor as that really important group project get in the way. Why? Because I'm more inclined to solve the problem of how to foreshadow a plot twist than I want to solve the problem of how to respond to management asking me to work for an extra 2 hours for free without losing my job. I've still got problems, but one I'll run towards, not away from. So, my friends and I band together and start a D&D campaign. And whether it's some form of Stockholm Syndrome or now their own personal source of copium, this little world in my head has sparked excitement, creativity, and wonder in the people around me who took the time to take interest. So much so that I'm no longer building all this alone. After all, D&D's collaborative storytelling and railroading's bad, but that's for another video. So, is projecting your own twisted reality on those around you the cure for escapism? Yeah, look, I don't know. For all I know, this is actually just the tipping point of my own self-validation for avoiding reality. But I found that sharing and dedicating time to whatever it is that holds your mind ransom is the best thing you can do for yourself. Especially when you can share that and inspire those around you. Because even the safe bet has risks, so you may as well take the bet on yourself a bit. Take the time to learn and create, build and share, because everyone is born with something to bring into this world. But almost all of us sacrifice that part of ourselves for the safe and mature path. This doesn't just apply to the classic struggling artist stories. I don't care if it's music, programming, comedy, saving the planet, God's damned knitting, or a personal brand brewery born from never finding the right flavor of whiskey. Just create something. Give yourself the time that you deserve to explore that spark that you left dying in the dirt. It's gonna suck, but you're not alone, and it's closer than you think. So join me while I drag this creative outlet out of my mind, share it with friends, and force it into my life. It might amount to nothing, once again, bludgeoned to death by scheduling conflicts and life itself. Or it might give someone else an escape from the real world and spark a bit of creativity. I have no plan, no direction, and no clue if any of this will work, but I figured why not? I'd rather descend into madness knowing that I gave it a chance than always ask myself, what if?